All right, so we are going to get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending the Federal Work Study Student Information Webinar. My name is To Hurwitz, Financial Aid Counselor, and joining us today is Eliana Campos from Human Resources Payroll Office and Sarah Sasaki from Career Development Center. All right, so the topics that we're going to go over in this presentation is what is Federal Work Study, eligibility and requirements, time frame and how to get started, rights and responsibilities, getting paid, benefits of Federal Work Study, where to find Federal Work Study jobs, resume assistant resources, Federal Work Study resources, and we're going to have opportunities for questions at the end. All right, so what is Federal Work Study? Federal Work Study is a form of financial aid awarded to those who demonstrate financial needs. Those of you that are here today have demonstrated financial need and are offered Federal Work Study. You may not be awarded every single year, so in this presentation, I'll go over how to position yourself well so you could be considered for Federal Work Study in the subsequent years. Right. Students earn an income in Federal Work Study job up to their award amount. Earnings are not counted in the FAFSA calculation. The purpose is to gain work experience and earn funds to pay for educational expenses. Right, how can I be considered? As I mentioned, not every student is considered for Federal Work Study, and just because you have it this year does not mean that you'll have it in subsequent years. So in order to position yourself well, you'll want to make sure you're filling out your FAFSA between October 1st and no later than March 2nd, which is the priority filing deadline. It's gonna require you to provide income and income taxes from 2 years ago. Right, you're gonna need to make sure you're following Federal Work Study eligibility requirements, and I'll go over that in details in the upcoming slides. Right, you also need to meet SAP, Satisfactory Academic Progress. For those of you who are not familiar with that policy, it's an academic policy, but financial aid is required by the Department of Ed to use it to determine aid eligibility. We're going to go over it in details as to what the policy entails and how you can monitor your own progress. Right. And lastly, you're going to need to accept your Federal Work Study offer on your student portal. By accepting it, it does not mean that you're committing to a job. It's saying that you're interested in using the federal aid program. If you do secure a job and have not accepted it, we'll reach out to you to accept it on your student portal. You will not be able to work under this program until you complete this step. All right, so your student financial aid offer. I wanted to show you the steps on how to accept your award since it is a requirement for you to do to participate in the program. So the screen on your student portal is not going to look exactly like this, but it will be similar. It has a list of financial aid programs that you're offered, and you'll want to identify Federal Work Study. It's going to have the amount that you're offered, and so this is the amount that you can work up to, and you'll need to go ahead and accept it. Right. So you just need to make sure you have Federal Work Study and make sure you're in the 25, 26 years, accept it, and then submit. So this presentation that we'll post later on the website It will contain helpful links if you're not sure how to do that or complete it. You can also call our office or drop in for assistance. All right, so who is involved? You. Of course, you're going to be involved. This is a partnership, so you do need to take responsibilities on making sure that you're making eligibility requirements and doing all the necessary things you need to do in terms of submitting paperwork and completing your onboarding process. The CDC, the Career Development Center, is involved in terms of posting the jobs, and later Sarah is going to show you the process of how to find federal work study jobs. They also offer resources in terms of resume assistance and interviewing process. Right, and CSULB employers are involved as they're going to be the ones that are looking for you. They're looking for federal work study students so they will eventually be your supervisor if hired by the departments. Human Resources and Payroll Office assists with processing your onboarding documents and payroll. And our office, financial aid and scholarships, is involved in terms of coordinating all the types of resources that you have with financial aid and federal work study. Some of you may have additional resources such as scholarships. So we are coordinating all of your aid. Sometimes students will see an adjustment to their aid, to their federal work study because they received additional aid. We're also monitoring to make sure students are meeting eligibility requirements and the academic policies. Okay, so now that you have federal work study and you have a job, you want to make sure you're doing all the necessary steps to keep your work study. So, step one, we're monitoring your units. So, students of all grade level, undergrad, graduates, and credential need to maintain 6 units minimum to be eligible for federal work study. If you're waitlisted for a class that is not considered enrolled to us, you need to be enrolled in the class to maintain 6 units minimum. Step two, be in good academic standing. I'm going to go over it in details in the next slide. Step three, do not exceed your federal work study amount on your financial aid offer. Step four, only have one federal work study and work no more than 20 hours a week. And the last step, on-campus jobs must be identified as federal work study, in which Sarah will show you how to identify those opportunities. There are no federal work study jobs off campus, they're all on-campus jobs. Okay, so satisfactory academic progress. This is what the screen is going to look like on your student portal. I'll show you how you can monitor your process. There are 3 standards that you'll need to meet: GPA, PACE, and maximum time frame. So SAP is monitored at the end of every semester once grades have been posted and finalized. You're going to receive an email notification after each evaluation notifying you of the results and your SAP stand-in. The results of the evaluation as well as your status can be accessed via your student center. If you fall out of meeting these standards and you did not meet SAP, keep an eye out for your email for SAP communications as you will have an opportunity to appeal. You'll need to pay attention to the deadline as the window to appeal is very small. If the appeal gets approved, your aid is reinstated and you are eligible for federal work study. All right. So now you might want to know, where can I find these jobs? CareerLink from the Career Development Center is a great resource as that's where you're going to be able to find federal work study jobs. Make sure you have a copy of your financial aid award and your enrollment. A screenshot is sufficient enough to show your prospective employers that you've done your due diligence. If you don't see a job posted on CareerLink that you're interested in, you can contact the department directly and let them know you've been offered federal work study and if they have any job opportunities available. Most departments are going to post their jobs on CareerLink, but just in case, feel free to reach out to the department directly. Right. And sometimes offices will send an email out for job opportunities. So you might want to keep an eye out on your student email for those opportunities. Okay. So when can I work? Now, you want to know when you can start working. Students are allowed by law to work on August 25th, which is the first day of classes, but no sooner. That includes training. The last day of the academic year that you can work is May 16th, which is the last day of finals next year. You can work anytime between these two dates as long as you're enrolled in both fall and spring semester. I also want to know if you're not enrolled for the spring semester, the last day you can work will be December 18th, 2025, which is the last day for finals for fall semester. Since you won't be enrolled in the spring, you won't be able to work after that last day under the Federal Work Study program. All right, now I'm going to pass it over to Eliana to go over the next step of student employments.
Perfect. Thank you. Hi, everybody. As mentioned, my name is Eliana Campos. I am the ASM for HR and payroll. So you were offered a job and accepted. So what are the next steps? In order for you to be able to start your work, you must sign in with payroll. And a lot of people ask, what does that consist of? You will need to complete the hiring paperwork via DocuSign, print it out, and bring it along with your original I-9 documents and Social Security card to payroll services, which is located in Brotman Hall 344. They are open Monday through Friday from 8 to 4:30. This should be completed by the third day from your start date. Now, how many hours can you work? The max hours a student employee can work is 20 hours a week, which includes all stateside jobs. So for example, let's say you're working as a federal work study student for the College of Business, and then you're working as a tutor for engineering, you can only work 20 hours in between both jobs. In addition, please remember that students should never work overtime as you are not allowed. Also, please remember to track your hours and earnings each month so you don't go over your award amount. If you go over your award amount, the department has to do something else on the back end. So we always tell them it's the responsibility for the student to track their hours as well as the department. Now, if any issues comes up, please contact your supervisor first. You can also contact your college or your department administrative service manager. Can you go one more back, please? Thank you. Now, the most important question is, how do you get paid? You must complete a timesheet every month by the deadline and submit it to your supervisor so they can submit your hours to payroll. Now, remember, if you submit your timesheet late, you're going to get paid late. And usually it's about a 2-week turnaround time from when we get it late. Now, students get paid once a month by the 15th of each month for the hours they worked the previous month. Once you receive your paycheck, we encourage you to sign up for direct deposit. That way you don't have to go deposit your check in the bank. You also get a little sooner than picking it up at cashiers. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to contact us. You can contact us at studentpayroll@csulb.edu. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Eliana. All right, so what are the benefits of working a flexible work schedule? You find a job that works around your class schedule. You gain work-related skills valued by future employers, such as time management, teamwork, planning and organization, initiative, communication. You build a professional network, develop professional references, experience career options firsthand, sense of community and involvement on campus. All right, so now I will pass it off to Sarah to go over where you can find federal work study jobs.
All right, thank you, Toe. And so, with that, everyone, just to introduce myself. I'm Sarah. I'm a career counselor at the center. And so, we're going to be getting into how to find those federal work study jobs, how to apply for them, and then also accepting and declining offers after that. All right, and so we can go ahead and move along. And so, we're going to start off with your single sign-on where you find, Canvas, My CSULB, and then you're going to click on that career link logo there. All right. And then, so once you get to our CareerLink homepage, and so firstly, if you haven't used it before, that's okay. CareerLink, this is our CDC platform where if you look at the top here, you can find jobs, you can look into what events we have coming up, like workshops and job fairs. Then we also have like career tools under resources. But to focus on federal work study jobs for today, we're going to go ahead and click on jobs. All right. And so from there, you're going to be taken to our job search portal. And so I do want to say, I know there's a lot of different tabs and, features and information here, but, we made it very straightforward for you to find those federal work study jobs. And so you would click on position type, and then you'll see this drop down come up. You'll click on or check off experiential learning federal work study, and then you would click apply from there. And so I do want to say, I know that some students do not have access to the federal work study jobs. And so if you are not able to access those federal work study jobs, I'm going to send instructions for that into the chat here. Okay, let me see. All right, and so I just sent this into the chat. You're going to go ahead and send your full name, student ID number, and screenshot of your Federal Work Study Award summary to d.hippolyte@csulb.edu. But I also know that some of us, have been having trouble with accessing CareerLink, so just even getting into the platform. And so if you are having any issues with CareerLink, these are going to be some different instructions. Let me send this into the chat here. Okay. And so we are aware of this, and our team has been actively looking into this. And so you're going to go ahead and send your full name and student ID number to me, to sarah.sasaki@csulb.edu. So again, two different sets of instructions for Federal Work Study Jobs access, but then also for CareerLink access. All right. And so with that, to get back into the job process. And so once you select that federal work study filter and you see the jobs come up. And so for my example, it is just showing campus jobs. But again, these would all be federal work study once you apply those filters. And so I just want to highlight a few parts here when you're looking at, the job postings and descriptions. And so firstly, if we take a look at that, center box, we can see like position title, we can see what department is this with. And then we can also see that, location and position type, so Long Beach and part-time on campus. And so I do want to say for federal work study, for the most part, that this is on campus, but I think too, some jobs can be off campus. Is that correct? I believe some postings
Some
can be off
some
campus.
are off campus, but they need to be
Yes.
approved. Yes.
hmm Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you. And so, yes, some can be off campus, but overall, I feel like most are on campus. And then you'll also see other parts as well, like job description, and you can see, an overview about the position and or the department. And they also have a link here taking you to the department's website. And then we'll also see other parts like eligibility, like what qualifications, requirements are you looking for here? And then if we look at the left, you'll also see that box with the 2D. That basically just means when this position was posted. So when you're looking at CareerLink, oh, this was posted 2 days ago or 6 days ago. And then if we look at that upper right-hand corner, you'll see save and apply. So as you're looking through postings, if you're like, hey, I want to save this for later, click on save. Or you can also click on that star symbol to the right of the posting as well. And then to apply, you can also click on that apply button up at the top. All right, and so just like what I mentioned, again, you can star the posting to pull them up in your saved postings, or you can also click save. Either way works, but you'll also, be able to refer back to these whenever you need to. All right. And so again, I would really recommend to everyone just take time to review the description for duties and qualifications, especially if they are looking for like specific requirements. But I do want to say, for a lot of federal work study jobs that I've looked at, they're not asking for, too many specific requirements. I'll see a lot about skills, related to like communication and teamwork, for example. And I do want to say if, you're like, hey, I don't have experience like, related to that department or position, we can always pull from, any transferable skills that you have, skills that you may have used in a different kind of setting, but it's still a shared skill between both areas there. And so, yeah, again, just take time to look at that description there. All right. And so, on the job posting, you will see additional information like, what hourly pay looks like. And you'll also see other parts like desired skills and desired majors. And so, whenever we see the word desired, that doesn't mean it's a requirement. Desired means, more of like this is like preferred, like it's preferred if, for example, were skilled at following directions and also with like interpersonal people skills. And then also the same for majors where like, oh, it's preferred if you were engineering, but you don't have to be though. And then you'll see other areas like, desired class levels, job functions, like what, fields is this position related to? And then you'll also see notes sometimes about if they are asking for like additional documents. And so like for this one, it's asking for like a writing sample. And so when we're continuing to look at the position, we'll see parts like, application deadline. And then sometimes they'll have information about, more info about like the employer or like department or center or program. And then they may sometimes have contact information as well, listed in the posting here too, but it's not always included there. All right. And so now for, applying. And so if we remember, if we go back to that slide that I pulled up where we had that apply, symbol, and then, oh, we can go to the next slide. Let's see. Perfect. Thank you. And then you would just click on that apply button, and then you would
Well,
see,
that's definitely
okay,
a
let's
pricing
see.
error. Let me
And
see if
so,
that
oh, if we would be
really
able
what
to
the
be
problem
on
is.
mute,
Give me one
if
moment.
we could go on mute for the presentation. So please make sure you're muted. Thank you. And we can take questions at the end. And so, we have a place to attach, your resume, for example. And then with the resume having that asterisk, that means that that document is required. And then in terms of submitting that financial aid award summary, in this other document section, that is where you could submit that. And if you see that or add a new document, if you click on that, that is how you could add any extra documents. So that award summary, or if they were asking for that writing sample there. And then you would just click submit from there. And so again, I want to say for the vast majority of positions that the applications are via CareerLink and applied through CareerLink, but for some positions, they may have in their description like, oh, please complete this, Microsoft form and please attach your documents here. And so just make sure to double check the position in case it does bring it up. But I want to say for most of the positions, you will apply for it through CareerLink. All right. And so with that, you've applied. And so now you're going to wait for a response. And so if you do receive a job offer, you would be notified through email and CareerLink. And so if you go into CareerLink after you get that notification on your email, for example, you should see like in that upper right-hand corner where your initials are, there should be like a number 1 where it's like, oh, you have a new notification. And if you click on that, you would see something like this where you've received an offer from this department and you would click on that notification to review your offer. All right, and then from there, you would either accept or decline the offer. And so, for example, let's say you apply for multiple federal work study positions. And, you're like, I'm going to choose this one. And then you can decline the other offers there. And then after you accept the offer, you would see offer accepted. And then as soon as you accept the offer, this placement form would immediately come up. And so the placement form, this is a way for us to be able to keep track of our federal work study students who are currently working. And this also allows us to stay in contact with you all and to, send out any updates if we need to. And so it's super quick to fill out. You would just select in that first drop down, federal work study. And then for that bottom section, you would just put in your job title and then which like department or center you're with. And then you would just type your name in the bottom and then you would be able to, complete your placement form from there and then click submit. All right. And so, to help you as you're going through this process in terms of, for example, looking at your resume or even looking at federal work study jobs together, we do have our drop-in advising hours. And so this is Monday through Friday from 12 to 3 p.m. These are about 15 to 20-minute sessions with the career peer advisor. And so you do not need to have an appointment. It's walk-ins only. And so you can access it via Zoom or in person. And so for Zoom, you would go back to that CareerLink platform, click on resources, and then scroll down for the Zoom link. And then, yes, the drop-in hours are throughout the semester. And then for in-person hours, and well, for in-person setting, this would be at Brotman Hall 250. And so again, you can access this either way. All right. And so again, I just wanted to show, a screenshot of how to get to that drop-in link. And so from CareerLink resources to drop-in virtual. And so I know there is this email here, but I would just say to everyone to follow the instructions that I sent into the chat for either CareerLink access or for Federal Work Study job access. And after my part, I'll make sure to send those messages again, since I know we have some new messages that have come up. And so with that, we can go into the next slide. All right. And so again, if you're looking for more tips, more examples for, your resume and or cover letter, if you go to our Career Center website, you would go to students and then resumes and cover letters. And then from there, you would see a lot of great essential tips for the resume, but then you're also going to see examples that have been tailored for each college. So, for example, College of Engineering may have a project section. College of Arts may have like a portfolio link. And so again, it's tailored in that way. But again, we also have our JobScan AI resume builder tool, where to give a brief overview, it's an AI-powered resume tool that can provide instant feedback on your resume based on the description that you provided it. And so JobScan will tell you like, oh, you're missing some of these skills they talked about, or, oh, maybe this is another way you can enhance your bullet point there. So again, some really great resources that are all free to check out. I'll pass it back over to Toe.
All right, thank you so much for that information, Sarah. So this is the federal work study resources that you are able to go to our financial aid and scholarships office. We do have phones that are available. It's make sure you select option 4. We are open from 8:30 till 5 every day. Enrollment services, we have Beach Centrals if you want to drop in person. Our hours are 8:30 till 4:30 p.m. Career Development Center, they have CareerLink. They also have drop-in hours, as Sarah mentioned, and Human Resources and Payroll. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. through 5 p.m., and they are located on Brotman Hall, the 3rd floor. All right, so that concludes the presentation, and now we'll be answering questions. Feel free to unmute yourself or drop your questions in the chat.
Excuse me, please. I've got a question.
Yes.
The CLA Scholarship, Equity Scholarship Program. Now, is that something that I need to go this route with the work study?
So With the scholarships and like any financial aid that you receive, you just need to make sure it fits within your cost of attendance for the year. If if it doesn't fit within your cost of attendance for the year, come by our financial aid office or give us a call and we'll try and work with you too. So that way you can have all of your financial aid.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Mary?
Hi, I'm in the program for social work,
Mhm.
and they basically made it seem like you can't do anything else but social work. Like, and they're like, I mean, just to sound blunt, they made it seem like you can't be doing anything but social work. Like, you need to focus on this and that. Like, if you have a job, quit it. Like, and
Mhm.
I get it, it's like it's important and doing your master's and all that, but that's the mindset that they kind of gave us. Um, but as far as like the federal work study, this is basically, hey, you're getting financial aid, but only if you work for it. Like,
That's correct. Yes.
now, as far as like if I decide to not work, that money in the federal work program, I don't receive it, nobody touches, it goes to, I guess, somebody else, correct?
That's correct. Yes. It will go to another student who is waitlisted for the program.
Okay. Now, if I go ahead and do take the opportunity and do the federal work study,
Mhm.
um, am I getting that money until there is no more of that? Because for me it was 4,000. I don't know if that's the same amount for everybody, but am I receiving that money until there is no more?
Yes,
Or
so basically, federal work study, you're getting paid in a form of a paycheck. So that $4,000 is your max allocation that you can have for federal work study. If you've exhausted that allocation, you can no longer work under the federal work study program.
okay, and that, like, you exhaust it, is it normally just 1 year? Or because you also said that people don't get offered it again the following year, but is that normally within a year that you exhausted it, 2 years, or is that just
No, so financial aid will be based on a yearly process. You'll need to complete your FAFSA before the priority deadline to be considered for federal work study. And if you meet the requirements for federal work study, you'll be offered that every year.
every year? It's still that 4,000 every year?
It may fluctuate. It may not be $4,000 exactly. It just depends on how much funding we have for the program and based on your information on your FAFSA.
Okay.
hmm
Um,
So it's
so
not a guarantee that you'll get it in the subsequent years, but just make sure you do your due diligence and apply your FAFSA prior to the priority deadline, so that way you'll be considered if you meet the requirements.
okay. So if we don't get the job, we basically lose the work study. It's just an opportunity that, I guess they selected random people.
Yeah,
And
you need to meet the eligibility for it.
yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Zofia.
Hi, so my question regards, so after you accept the financial aid work study, and they ask you to go turn in your documents to the payroll, is there something like what documents do I need again? Because I kind of missed that part. I heard there was like a specific form we're supposed to bring.
Yeah, no worries. So when they offer you a job, whoever is hiring you, they're gonna send you what's called an SCPTF. It's a contract, and it's gonna be via DocuSign. So you'll sign that. That will be like, hey, this is your start date. This is how much you're getting paid. They'll also send you something via DocuSign that's like a hiring packet. It's just so you fill out the information, your address, withholdings. So all that is there. You're gonna print that out and then you're gonna bring it to payroll services located in Bromman Hall, 344.
Okay, and then thank you. I forgot my other question. My next question would be, so I could have a federal work study job, and then I can also have another job as well that's off campus too. I would just have to work that out on my own, or
Correct.
okay.
So you can only have one federal work study job.
Okay.
The on campus. You can work like, let's say you're working for the College of Business, and then let's say you're working for, I'm just going to put it out there, like In-N-Out, right? You can do that. The only thing is that we always tell students your education comes first. The limit for 20 hours a week, it's whatever jobs are getting paid through the state.
Mhm.
But like if we don't track the hours that are not in the university, but we tell people like, remember, like your SAP has to be met. You have to make that a priority. So we always advise people do not work more than 20 hours. I know that's hard for some people. It's just that's the recommendation if you have jobs outside of
Oh,
Cal State Long Beach. But if it in Cal State Long Beach, it's a max. Like that is like not a recommendation. It's like you have to only work 20 hours.
and then for the FWS, if it doesn't offer, like, say it only offers 4 hours, like once a week, um, like what happens if we don't meet that SAP, like that max? Do we have to meet it, or?
Yes, you're gonna need to meet SAP standards at the end of every semester. That's when we evaluate you for your SAP standards. If you don't meet it, you're gonna receive an email communication from us letting you know that you do have an opportunity to appeal. Once you make that appeal, if we approve it, you'll get your aid reinstated back and you'll get your federal work study reinstated back.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Right, so I'm just going to be answering some questions from the chat. If we do not get a position for the fall semester, can we try for spring semester? Absolutely. You can. So with the money that you receive, you're going to receive it in a form of a paycheck. So you can use it towards any educational expenses. You can use it towards housing, tuition, or even personal use. So you can check your SAP standards in your student portal. It's going to be under My CSU LB. And on there, if you hit financial aid link, there should be a drop down that allows you to view your financial aid, your SAP standards for financial aid. If accepting federal work study, would that consider me as a part-time student? Because some of my scholarship requires me to be full-time student. So federal work study, the minimum units that you need to be enrolled in to be eligible will be 6 units. To maximize all of your financial aid, we do encourage students to be at 12-time units, which is full-time. But it should not have any effect if you're part-time. Like federal work study would not, like accepting federal work study would not consider you part-time student. If you got $2,000 federal work study award, is that per semester or for the whole year? It's usually for a semester. So in total, most students, they generally get $4,000 for the academic year, 2,000 for the fall, and 2,000 for the spring. I'm confused on how we can start working on the first day of school if GPA is a requirement. Does this mean at some point or when our GPA is below the requirement, we lose our job? I'm not exactly sure if some jobs are looking at GPA, but if you have any questions about that, I would reach out to the employer directly or the department directly to inquire that. In regards to SAP, most of you are incoming freshmen, so you don't have a SAP stand record right now. You're like in the all clear, so you should all be in good standing. If I have an upcoming interview for a non-federal work study, can I still apply for federal work study jobs in case I get rejected? Yes, you can still apply for federal work study jobs if you have federal work study offered to you. So the presentation slides will be available hopefully by next week. We just have to post it on our website. the recordings will also be posted on the website too. If you're taking a research class in place of federal work study, do you still have to fill out paperwork? Research class is not considered federal work study unless you accepted a position. So you don't need to do paperwork for a research class unless the class require you specific documents. And yes, you can always reach out to the department directly to see if they have remote jobs or other positions that's not listed on CareerLink. And if you applied for jobs on CareerLink but haven't heard back, you're encouraged to contact the department for an updated status. And the Career Development Center, they'll be able to assist you with any resume questions and would a paid internship interfere with federal work study? No, because that is an outside source. You just need to be mindful of your financial aid that you are receiving. So just keep an eye out for your award as they may change throughout the year if you get more assistance. How do you obtain enrollment verification certificate? For financial aid purposes, you can just take a screenshot of the classes that you're enrolled in, and that will show the employer how many units you're in. Is there a minimum hours we can work on federal work study job, or it depends on the job? It's going to be dependent on the department and how much they need you as well. They're also going to look at your schedule to see what best fit them. Do you recommend federal work study for students taking 5 classes? We do encourage students to prioritize their education first. And does it matter if we have another job that's not part of federal work study? It does not. But again, as mentioned previously, we do want you to prioritize your education. Right. And if anyone else have any questions, you can feel free to unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Cecilia. I have a question. So, like, let's just say if I decide not to do for a work study in the fall, can I still get financial aid?
Yeah, absolutely. So federal work study is part of your aid package. You will still receive other financial aid.
Oh, okay. And can I also apply before the semester starts? So that way, if I do get accepted for a federal work study job, I can accept it beforehand and then start
Yeah.
on August 25th.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can apply. I believe the job's are already active on CareerLink, so you can start applying. You just cannot start working until August 25th.
Okay, and I have one more question. Where does it say again where it like announces events like job fairs and like where you can go and check out, you know, opportunities or resources for jobs?
That will be at the Career Development Center. You
Mm-hmm.
can go see, get assistance in persons, or they also have a website and career link. Sarah, I don't know if you want to add more to it.
Oh, okay. So I can go online where it says single sign on and then click on career link and then click on resources and it will show
Mm-hmm.
me if they have any like events and stuff.
And so for drop-in advising specifically, to talk to an advisor, you're on the right track. You'll click on resources, but then
Mhm.
you'll scroll down and then you should see a box that says drop-in advising. And so our hours are 12 to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. And so you could visit us during that time frame. But I usually do recommend, since we end at 3, not to arrive at like, 2:45, for example, like just in case if there are other students ahead of you in the queue. And so to
Oh,
arrive earlier on, if possible, to make sure you could be seen.
oh, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
All
have a
right.
question.
Yes.
So, since it's my first time on the link, it was asking me about the type of jobs that I wanted to try or to work. Um, am I supposed to go based on my major? And since it's only 20 hours that we can get, we also put part-time.
I'm sorry. Say your question again.
On the link, what is it called? The job link? Career link, sorry. Um, since it's my first time going on the link, it says like the type of jobs. Am I supposed to go based on my major? And since we only get 20 hours, is that considered part-time? So I'm looking for a part-time, not a full-time.
So
So
regarding
yes.
the hours, it is part-time. So all our student positions are part-time.
Okay.
But so I'll let you answer the other part.
I'm sorry. I got a little bit sidetracked.
Oh, no, no, wait. So yeah, so for the hours, it is part-time. I know when campuses, sorry, not campus, departments post, they'll be like, hey, they're looking for this kind of degree or what their major are, but that doesn't mean that you have to limit yourself. It's just depending on the departments, they might be looking for that student. But for example, for HR, we've had nursing students, we've had engineering students. So even though they're not HR majors, because we conduct interviews, so it really comes down to each department and if it's somewhere that you're interested in, I would say apply. Sarah, would you agree with that?
Oh, could you say that one more time, Eliana? I was just
Um,
responding to people in the chat.
No worries. So,
Mhm.
so in case her major, let's say it's business, she would not have to limit herself just to a business, like position. She could apply to
Mhm.
any jobs on campus. Mhm.
Yes, correct. And I want to say for federal work study, again, there's not like super strict requirements that I've seen, but for example, if a position did say like, oh, we're like only seeking like engineering, like, federal work study, for example, then just making sure that you're double checking any qualifications requirements like that. But yeah, overall for the positions, you'd be able to apply for any of them, regardless of your major.
Thank you. All right, Jennifer.
Hello. My question is, if I had accepted the federal work study, like prior to, I guess, like coming to Cal State, Long Beach, would I, would that affect my my financial aid package, or would it just be dismissed because I didn't get the job or a job?
No, so if you accepted federal work study and you're unable to find a position, the funds would not be dispersed to you. It will just go back into the program so that other students who are waitlisted will be able to receive that.
Okay, and let's say that if I were not to like get the job, would I have to decline it, or do I just like let it sort itself out?
So we're going to go in and decline federal work study, cancel out federal work study for students who did not accept it. I would say about a month into the semester. So that's a project that we'll work on. So you don't need to do anything as of right now. But if you do want to have federal work study as an option, I do encourage you to accept it.
Okay. So yeah, so if I had already accepted it, would I have to decline it if I don't get a job, or can I leave it open and then see if I find a job during spring semester?
No, you can definitely leave it open. And if you find a
Okay.
position in the spring, you can use that allocation.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right, so if you decline it for this semester, can you still get work study for the spring? Yes, you can. Just make sure you don't decline both. If you do decline both and you want federal work study, just stop by our financial aid office or give us a call and we can see if we can reinstate it for you. So your first step of this process would be to accept federal work study.
Hello,
Hello.
hi, my name is Tatiana, and I did a little bit of math here, and I just want to make sure I understand the situation correctly.
Mhm.
So if it's 16.50 an hour, and we're allowed to work 20 hours a week, and I have done the math and I put that in the chat box too, so you can visualize it. So it's $330 per week, and so $330 times 4 weeks is $1,320. That times 4 months, which is what a semester consists of, is $5,280, which is more than is allotted. Like I was allotted $4,000 per year, and as you mentioned, it's $2,000 for spring and $2,000 for fall. So, like, the math doesn't seem to be adding up. Could you?
So, yeah, let me explain. So the thing is, you can work a max of 20 hours a week. That doesn't mean that you will be working 20 hours a week. So let's say you work 20 hours a week for 3 months, you will have exhausted your total amount. It's not that you were offered a job and they're paying you for 4 months. It means it's once you use up your funds, then you are no longer getting federal work study amount. So I've seen students who they work 20 hours, they work 2.5 months, and then they're done. But that means that they've earned all they can for that semester. And then it's up to the department if they would like to keep that student, and which means they would pay them out of their own budget, or if they asked, hey, unfortunately, we don't have the budget, you're gonna have to wait until next semester to take your start working again, because that's when you can start using your other $2,000. So it's not hey, we hire you 1650, you're guaranteed for 4 months of work. It's more like you can work up to, or you can earn up to 4,000 for that, 4,000 for the year, excuse me.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that. So basically also what I can do is kind of like break it down. So to work the amount per week, so it fits the budget. So it
Mhm.
fits $2,000 per semester.
Yeah, and I can tell you many departments do that. So what they'll see is like, okay, how much does somebody get allotted? Okay, that means in order to be able to keep you for the 4 months, you cannot go over 8 hours a week. So each department does it a little different, but the big thing is a lot of departments, they rather keep their students a whole semester because I think it's good for the student, it's good for the department, but that just means that's what we mean about not going over your allowance and keeping track of your hours.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And then I also kind of have some more of a comment, I guess. I hear that you guys say that we need to prioritize our education, and I completely agree with you. That's the whole point of us going to university. But there seems to be a disconnect between the really high cost of living in Southern California and a minimum wage 16.50 is so low that I hear in the comments that people are scrambling and trying to get a second and third job, just which doesn't fit with the philosophy, like of education. So is there, I guess my question is there a push, or do you see in the future there to be a change where that amount could increase for students so they don't have to be working 2 or 3 jobs while going to school?
So I can tell you that so there's a salary schedule. So the minimum I believe is 1650. The maximum I want to say it's 2350, almost 24. So it's up to the departments what they're paying based on the experience somebody has.
Okay.
But I will say the higher you get paid, you're still maxed out at whatever your high amount is. So if you have 4,000, if someone's getting paid $22 an hour, then they're gonna get to that max faster. Yeah, so the reason we also do say that, but it's based on the experience, right? We say that school is important is because SAP it's a requirement for federal work study. So if you don't meet that, then you will lose your federal work study.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, rightfully so, because
Mhm.
more important. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question about qualifying for federal work study.
Sure.
So I already have qualified for federal work study and I'm applying for jobs and everything. But I, like just mentioned, like I think I might have to get a separate job outside of campus in order to afford rent and bills. If I do that and then my income changes, will that suddenly disqualify me from federal work study?
So it's all going to be dependent of your FAFSA. We do encourage the students to apply by March 2nd because that is the priority filing deadline for FAFSA to be considered for federal work study. The FAFSA, they're going to look at 2 years prior. So this year, we're looking at 2023 income and taxes. Next year, we're going to look at 2024 income and taxes. So if for any reason there is like a change of income or any unusual circumstances that happen, just reach out to our office and we'll try to assist you the best that we can.
I guess what I'm trying to say is if I get a federal work study job
Mhm.
and a job off campus, will I suddenly be let go from federal work study because I have an off campus job?
No. So those are completely independent of each other. Um, you just need to manage your time, I guess, because any jobs that are outside of campus and are not federal work study, we don't look at that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I know that you're saying it goes off your taxes from 2 years ago. I wanted to make sure I wasn't gonna be dropped from the program if I got another job
So I
now.
think I think the question, I mean, just so I understand the question. So if you wouldn't be dropped from federal work study if you had a job outside of campus. But I think your question is, what if I start making more money where the threshold is different, where I don't qualify for financial aid anymore?
Right.
And I think the thing is, it depends on the FAFSA and what they offer. So yes, if that is a possibility, that if you have multiple jobs and your income increases, that could happen because the FAFSA is based on your income. But it's not that they'll drop you for that semester kind of thing.
Okay,
how,
so it
because you
would change future. Sorry, didn't mean to talk over you. Sorry.
no, yeah. So it would be like for the future it is, but I know there's times and maybe though you can, because I know there's people that have sometimes scholarships, right? And you guys
Mhm.
evaluate things. Is it every semester that you guys look at it?
Yeah, so with scholarships and grants, if they come into student aid, we'll look at it like as it come in. So we'll review it throughout the semester.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Okay,
that way, like you'll also see like some students may have their federal work study adjusted throughout the semester.
Yeah,
got
but
it.
we don't take in consideration for that semester that outside because we wouldn't see FAFSA wouldn't see your income until the next year.
Got it.
That
Okay,
makes sense.
that
Okay,
makes
good.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
perfect. And I think we're at time, right? Yes.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. One last question, something quick. It's about the award letter. Exactly where are you supposed to find it? Under Outlook or through Canvas, through CareerLink, or?
It's going to be at your My CSULB. So once you click on that My CSULB on your single sign-on, you're going to go under Finances, and there should be a link for financial aid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you all have a good day. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.